Welcome to the 2019 APTA Nationals presented by locally by PNC, with thanks also to the APTA's national official sponsors Viking and Uline. We are live from the Fox Chapel Racquet Club in Pittsburgh on the APTA network presented by eNet Live. I'm Brad Easterbrook alongside Hall of Famer Patty Hogan, bringing you the women's round of 16 match between the number 3 seeds of Gabby Niculescu and Liz Cruz and the number 14 seeds of Maria Manley and Pam Ruoff. Patty, welcome to the booth. Pleasure to be out here with you.
Brad, it's always my pleasure to sit next to you for these matches. I love your insights, and this is going to be a great one.
So why don't you introduce our players out on the court and tell us about them?
Okay, we've got Maria Manley from Rumson, New Jersey, and Pam Ruoff from Monmouth Beach, New Jersey. They are the 14th seed in this national championship, and they have a tall task here coming up against the defending national champions, Liz Trumbull from Cruz, Connecticut, or Liz Cruz from Trumbull, Connecticut. I'm going to go Liz Cruz, Trumbull, Connecticut, and Gabby Niculescu from Norwalk, Connecticut. Cruz is a former national champion, and as you can see in the bio, so is Gabby. And Manley and Ruoff, longtime great team, used to lead our Region 1 President's team, are not playing.
I think the umpire's announcing there. Let him take the reins here for a second.
In the deuce court, from Rumson, New Jersey, Maria Manley. And in the ad court, from Monmouth Beach, New Jersey, Pamela Ruoff.
They're getting right underway here with Liz Cruz to serve, and they're ready to go. And as we go here, we'll do a quick introduction of players around the court. There's Liz Cruz serving. Pam Ruoff was hitting the return on the far side. Gabby Niculescu at the net in the red vest. Maria Manley was hitting on the deuce side, and then Pam Ruoff here hitting the drive right now. And
30 love.
We're underway, 30 love, 2 quick missed drives there. So again, just to clarify, Maria Manley hitting the return right now. Liz Cruz serving. Wow, beautiful spot.
30-50.
30-15. So Patty, what do you think about this match?
I never bet against people who win national championships, Brad. So I would say Gabby and Liz, even though Gabby is coming back, hasn't played that many tournaments this year. They played Short Hills. They lost in the quarters, but they lost to the winners, Stoklasova and Andreikova, who had teamed up for that event. And they obviously, as defending national champions, they're the ones to beat.
Yeah, the only thing you'd have to worry about from them is the lack of time on the court. Niculescu just had a baby, and
Dimitri,
yeah.
Congratulations, Gabby.
Yeah, and so, she's just getting her feet wet back on the court, but she's an amazing player. Clearly one of the fiercest competitors. She's got thunder forehand, great rolling drive. She's athletic, and she is fierce out there. Cruz, a little more measured in her play. Looks for the high backhand, very good under pressure, great drives off both sides, solid volleyer. Doesn't play with, I guess the word I'll use is the pace or athleticism of Niculescu. Niculescu really fires the ball in there and try to speed up points at various times in the matches. Would you say that Niculescu's known for her roller to some degree?
Oh boy, is she ever. It is an explosive shot. She is an explosive personality and an explosive paddle player, and she is passionate. You'll see that out here, and you just feel her level of competitiveness in every match she ever plays. And even though she doesn't have a lot of match play this year, it doesn't matter. She knows how to win. She's got that roller overhead and that pounding forehand drive. And the other thing that makes her pretty unique is her ability to move at the net. Brad, she loves covering for Liz, even though Liz doesn't need to be covered for. Gabby will keep that movement, and unless the deuce court player goes up the line on Gabby to keep her honest, she could take over a match.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw last year in the national championships how that hard rolling overhead of hers really just created havoc, for the team in the finals last year. And Manley and Ruoff. Ruoff is a very strong player. Maria Manley also very good. She's got weapons, both forehand, backhand drive. Very good tennis player, Pam Ruoff. They're a pretty good team.
They're a really good team. Number 14 in the country. They're what I call a tough out. Any team they come up against, they have a willingness to extend the points, keep that team out here for a long time. And the longer you keep a team who's ranked higher than you on the court, the better chance you have of pulling off an upset.
They have some weapons, too.
Yeah, Manley and Ruoff, 7th place finish at Short Hills, 6th place in the Boston Open, 9th place in Long Island, and the 3rd place finish in the Lake Invitational. It's a great shot from the back of Gabby in that red vest as she prepares to crack another forehand return to serve.
Too long ago, maybe about 5 years ago, Manley and Ruoff were about 5 or 6 in the country, right?
5 or 6 in the country. They don't play as many tournaments as some of the other top teams, Brad, so that works against them in their national ranking.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest issues, really. I mean, to me, Ruoff could have been right up there with the elite players in the game.
I think
very good, as you said,
Pam and Maria are good friends. They live near each other down the shore, so they get to play New Jersey Women's League matches together, and they've played together for a million years. Maybe not a million, but at least a decade, I think.
Niculescu going to work with those rolling overheads, trying to get them near the crease. This is that one from deeper in the court.
A little bit of a wild shot, but when Gabby's on, that shot's not a wild shot. You know, it's risky. It's a gigantic backswing, huge follow through. She really lets that ball drop almost dangerously to a low point, but when she's dialed into that, whew, it's such a weapon.
And she'll actually explode off the ground to hit it when she's feeling good.
Right, you don't really see that shot out of anyone else besides Roxy and Nika. We saw a lot of it last year out of Roxy.
Great cover from Cruz. She's very aware as a player. She does a great job communicating, knows where she is on the court, generally takes smart shots, smart drives all the time.
She compliments anybody she plays with.
Yeah.
She won a national champion with Elena Brazova, also won one with Gabby Niculescu.
Yeah. Everything she knows is kind of all right. You know, not all right meaning it's okay. I mean, it's all correct. It's all good.
Right. She's not a risk player. She's risk adverse almost as a player.
But she still has weapons and will hit offensive shots.
For sure. She loves her two-handed backhand, it seems, in the moment of truth. Maybe she prefers that to her forehand, Brad.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there.
But she, you know, can play the deuce court, the ad court, real flexible as a player.
I can still touch my toes. You get flexibility.
Can you touch both feet with both hands at the same time, Brad? Or does one arm need to be raised while the other goes down?
I'm going to take the fifth on that, Patty.
Because that's the only way I can touch any of my toes.
All right, here you see the hand signal so popular with the players these days. I think Manley's telling her where to serve at that time, Maria Manley. Out wide, that's where the finger was pointing for Manley. Good serve there for Ruoff.
But Gabby looks good to me. She's really fit. I mean, it's quite remarkable. She just had a kid in December. And she's out here. They're going for number one. She didn't just come here to show up.
Oh, they didn't, and that's an interesting top half of the draw with Niculescu and Cruz. You got Lemry Rohrbeck up top. You got Hanisch and von Starenberg. So it's going to be some battles. We're coming down to the crunch time here in the round of 16, where each battle is going to get more and more intense.
I think the 3 days of play favors Cruz and Niculescu.
I agree.
I think just because they don't have that many matches, spreading this out over 3 days, I think can help them a lot.
Oh, great volley.
Look at the hands and how quiet they were. Just held the paddle, let the ball hit. Volley stayed down low.
Manley and Ruoff are going to have to play a really good tactical match here. The last game they played, too many balls to the Niculescu forehand.
50, 30.
They're going to have to keep it away from the strike zones and get Gabby moving. You know, low, deep to the middle. Get her to play that ball, then put it behind her. They can keep it and then keep it out of those strike zones.
50, 40.
Pressure from Manley and Ruoff right here against Gabby's serve.
Just getting right up in their faces there, and good blitzing there from Manley and Ruoff, not backing down at all. So the first game was sort of loose from them. They missed a few of their drives, a few of their shots. The second game, when they're trying to hold serve, to me, that's the biggest thing. You know, Manley Ruoff got to find a way to hold serve a few times here. And they're really, like I said, that's what they're going to do, play a super disciplined game and be very precise with their overheads. So, Patty, no tournament goes on without some great sponsors. Viking Athletics is one of them. They're the premier brand and the undisputed leader in platform tennis. Viking is platform tennis.
Seems to be working now. So.
The Viking Extra Duty platform ball has been the #1 selling ball in the industry for the last 20 years. It is the official ball of the APTA, of the APTA Nationals and President's Cup, and of the Grand Prix Tour. All right, so Maria Manley to serve here.
So if you're Manley Ruoff, Brad, what's your strategy once you get the first volley in play? Who do you go after here?
The first few points, they are showing a willingness to go after Niculescu and stick, well, there, see what they're trying to do is stick Manley on top of the net to cut off volleys, but Ruoff isn't ready to get that. But they're going to need to move her low, deep to the middle, keep her off balance, find her backhand. She's going to lob well down the line and look for that forehand. Every time they get a forehand, the advantage is going to, every time Gabby gets the forehand, the advantage is hers.
30.
All right, so love 30.
I always feel like every additional shot Gabby gets, the advantage goes to Gabby.
Meaning they should be working Cruz much more.
I feel like they've got to be willing to let Cruz beat them in this match. Even though Gabby has not played that much. I just feel like
that's not their thought right now, but I don't disagree with you at all. I think anytime you take a player like Gabby out of the zone, although Cruz is dangerous in her own right and does not get baited into making a lot of errors, but I understand what you're saying. Take the main weapon out, the huge forehand from Niculescu.
Right, the huge forehand is the biggest problem spot that Manley and Ruoff have to concern themselves with. So that's why I'm saying I'd almost, overhead, over toward Cruz, because I just think Gabby's just going to get better and better as the match goes on.
30, 40.
She didn't look great there. But
well, you gave her the classic commentator jinx there, Patty.
Of course.
Made you look bad. All right, so 30-40 here. See if Manley Ruoff can get their first hold. I do like the fact that Manley Ruoff did multiple service strategies. There you saw Ruoff crossing, but there you saw Gabby getting the forehand, and if she makes it, she didn't. She missed the last two balls, in fact. They're going to be in a little trouble. Ruoff taking a very aggressive position at the net, leaving the line open, trying to cover more courts to move both ways.
I like the move. She kind of limits the amount of court Manley has to cover on her first volley by taking that aggressive move toward the middle.
Yep. A couple of really good high spotted volleys on Manley this game. There's the fault, so it's 3-1 now.
Cruz, Niculescu, they lead the first set.
They've hit 2 or 3 balls up higher on Manley. Manley's a little shorter. The ball gets up, it kind of gets up on her, and she's missed a couple of volleys. Even let one go that rolled in for a winner, too.
50. Wow.
I think Manley's a really good low volleyer. I think, to your point, Brad, I'm not sure she gets her paddle head upright, facing up to the sky almost, soon enough to handle those volleys. She seems to go up with her elbow out, and then the ball has to pop. And unfortunately, it pops up.
Oh.
30, 50.
And again, Gabby will find her range on that shot before the end of this match, I think.
Big drive there from Ruoff.
Yeah, really good dipping return of serve.
Ruoff comes from a tennis playing family who actually grew up in the same town. I knew her father very well. And all the girls, they're Gurkowski girls, but they're very good tennis players.
Katie plays in New Jersey, and Patty plays in New Jersey. And their nephew, Brendan, won the 15 and under boys nationals a couple weekends ago with Peter Cornforth.
Played really well, I heard.
They dominated the 15s this year.
That overhead there cannot go right to that one right there to the Niculescu forehand is going to be a killer. Yeah, if you can't get it to the side screen.
That's something Manley and Ruoff have worked hard on. With Maria kind of moving to her right, letting Pam cover more of the overheads. She's got a huge reach.
She's got a lot of wingspan, that's for sure.
She does.
She's tall, long out there, so that's a good point there.
So that was a good play by Maria to go down the line on Gabby, just to keep her, staying home. Gabby loves to move to her right, and going up the line prevents that.
Yeah, Manley's hit 3 or 4 returns down the line there. She loves that shot. Nice.
Dave, Manley, Ruoff, Cruz,
Nice, great break there. Let's see if we can get their first hold under their belt. That's going to be the key.
Brad, I know you memorize everything. Who does the winner of this match come out against? Do you know?
The winner of this match. I'll take a wild guess. We're going to see. The winner of this match is going to come up against probably in the quarterfinals, Lemery and Rohrbach, assuming they beat Tile and Tunaro, the 12th seed. So that would be a good match. I mean, a really good test for both teams. But Heil and Tunaro, I mean, I don't know if you've seen Alice Tunaro play and Amy Heil. They're a good team out of the Midwest from the Ohio region.
Yep, and Lemery Rohrbach made it to the semis of this championship last year.
Yep.
Suzanne Lemery hurt her leg early in their match against Niculescu and Cruz. So they're a very athletic, talented team, a lot of quickness. I would expect them to come through.
That's the first of many great quarterfinals we have coming up. Well, to your point earlier, clearly they don't have the mindset of keeping the ball away from Niculescu. They are going at her, and I've seen her play 90% of the balls at this point, Patty.
Yeah, it's kind of odd they're challenging her, and she's made a chunk of errors so far. But I think she's just getting her feet wet. She knows she's got to miss some, but to find her range, and she will.
Oh, great drive there. Earn those let cords by taking the strike on the ball. Very nice.
We'll get to quarterfinal action tomorrow around 10:30 in the morning, Brad. Our second set of matches will go on the air at 8:30 with men's 32s.
Clearly have Manley up there looking to cut off volleys. She goes for the dropper there, but great hands from Ruoff and Manley.
30 all.
Oh, big point there. 30 all. Now she's telling her if she's moving and where to serve. It looks like she was going to stay. Serve up the tee, but we'll see. Up, serve wide, and she's staying. Okay. It all depends on the team size.
They mix up the signals so the announcers on live stream can't, signal the players on the other side of the net.
Gabby's got I have a live feed right into Gabby's headset.
For sure.
Oh, look at that.
40,
Great
30.
shot.
Manley and Ruoff will take their time, Brad. They'll slow down to get the pace of play that they want.
Yeah, that's smart. Against all these teams, if you let them be front runners on you, you don't want to go down quickly. You got to control the tempo. Oh,
Okay.
great hold from Manley Ruoff.
3 all.
Gabby had a kind of a shaky serving game last time round, Brad, so this is kind of a moment of truth here early on. This round of 16 match APTA National Championships. Kind of shocking that they're staying back on Maria's return, but it's because Ruoff has come in a lot from that ad court, put a lot of pressure on that first volley. So Cruz and Niculescu just decided we can play back and play baseline all day long. Why not?
We saw again 4 balls in a row right into Niculescu's corner by running Cruz. So they're working Niculescu. I like that long, deep overhead that I just saw from Ruoff. It stays low and deep. Oh, tracking it down. Oh,
What a volley from
what a
Ruoff.
volley. And that's that wingspan that we were talking about, Patty.
Oh, I can only dream of making a volley like that, Brad.
With your wingspan, come on. It's a heck of a point. I like Manley hitting those drop shots, but she's popping them up so high. They're getting a little too much airtime.
15 love.
That was a great point. Really ridiculous exchange up the net.
And again, they're just going to stay back, and I think that's a sign that Gabby feels shaky on her serve. So just dump the ball in the box, start the point, take it from there. Going to switch over to get Cruz in the ad court on purpose, Brad.
Drive it. Ooh, smart shot there from Niculescu. Wasn't ready to pull the trigger on the drive.
And it was a short ball, but she wasn't lined up to hit a backhand there, so she just threw up that lob.
Ooh, just a little stab on the volley. Paddle didn't stay still or quiet.
And that paddle head kind of drops down
Yep.
below the grip, Brad, which leads to popping the ball.
All right, you're an exceptional volleyer. exactly how it's supposed to be, and that's right.
30, 50.
I've heard you say it many times, Brad, and you're PPTA, one of the best teaching professionals in the country, highly regarded, and you've trained so many pros. And you know, when they transition from tennis over to paddle, you convey all the time, committing to that backhand volley and keeping your paddle still. Former PPTA president.
Indeed, some good points here. Love how this is turning out. Great shot there from Manley. Staying right up on the net, looking for the attacking volley. If they're going to stay back, I need them to keep lobbing the ball over Manley, till you get the right ball to drive. Keep making Ruoff go behind Manley. Keep making her come back. Keep moving them out of position. And then when you get the one that's in your wheelhouse, take that. Oh, a little lack of footwork there, lack of commitment to the shot.
Yeah, Gabby's just flat here.
Certainly right now, but still 3-all. This would be big if Manley Ruoff could start making kind of a statement. Take this game, get a hold. You always feel that way for the lower seeded team, that they need to get out and get a foothold going in the match. And they do, they have it right now. And clearly, Niculescu is just making mistakes.
Yep. I think Ruoff and Manley are a very good defensive team. I don't feel like they have offensive shots from the net in terms of varieties of spins on overheads. But, you know, they're dependent on waiting it out, and, you know, Gabby's made a lot of unforced errors here in the early goings. Yeah, see, that's the overhead where Gabby lets it drop. Almost hits up on the ball before that ball comes down.
What a shot there. Great roller into the crease. Wow.
Really good return.
Heck of a return from Manley. And she got that short right over the top. Angles it wide. All right, another break point here from Manley Ruoff.
What a volley from Gabby. How low she got down on that ball.
And she read Ruoff's position. Manley's just kicked behind her. Roller. Whoa! I'm not sure why Ruoff would go that far to track it down. A little miscommunication. Manley easily could have had that with an offensive forehand, but they got a little...
You know what I think, Brad? I think Pam thought it was going to be a much better drop shot.
And
so I think she was doing the beeline.
Right.
And once it went over a little bit more to her right, she just kind of yielded it to Maria.
Who wasn't really ready to hit it.
Well, we have questions about Cruz and Niculescu. Just not a lot of matches under their belt. A little bit of a shaky start, they would admit.
Oh, there's no question. They would have to. It's just probably, you know, for Gabby, everything right now is, for Gabby Niculescu, is gravy. Getting back on the court, you know, very quick after a, you know, pregnancy, and she's just enjoying being back out here and competing, but getting your feet wet out here and the importance of the points and getting that's all innate to her, but it takes a little time to get back in that mode.
Is that match over, Brad? We see the far court on Drakova and Zabori.
Looks like they're leaving the court, so we'll see if we can figure out what happened there. What a great return again from Manley. So another break point here for Ruoff. But here's what I think about this match. You know, it's still Manley and Ruoff need to capitalize now while they're getting these errors out of Niculescu and Cruz. If they don't, well, I don't think Cruz and Niculescu are going to start making more errors. You know what I mean? This is going to be their opportunity where they're going to have to step it up and really make this turn. If they don't get this going right now, they'll come back
the
at home.
first set is so key because
oh, wow.
Gabby and Liz are great front runners. They can close matches out. Right now, they're just having a hard time getting into the points, and you know they are shaky. But Ruoff and Manley are playing well.
Manley's hit 3 amazing returns in a row, and there's a great break. Huge for Manley Ruoff, going up 4-3.
So, Brad, there are some. I mean, have you ever seen this much depth in the women's field? Round of 16 matches this competitive. I mean, usually this would be a quarter. Ruoff and Manley, you know, have gotten to a lot of quarters in the Nationals.
Sure.
They're a really good team. Not a lot of explosiveness, but rock solid, and they'll compete. And they know how to dictate the pace of play. And they've got this thing to a slow. This is a really slow match here. And Gabby and Liz want to go fast. And Manley and Ruoff just are not going to let them go fast.
No, this is great points.
There's a round of 16 match. Brzova and Shea. Curtis Stoklasova. I think we could sell tickets for that match.
That match is incredible. You know, that is a semis or a finals match at the very least. You know, in many, many circumstances. You know, Brzova played very little the last couple of years, but, you know, still a 3-time national champion. One of them with Liz Cruz here, and that's going to be an amazing match. And you'd have to say Curtis and Stoklasova are, you know, clearly one of the front runners, you know, or favorites to win the national, but that's quite a test. I mean, that might be, other than the days of, say, 7, 8 years ago when you had Prendergast come in as unseeded teams into the Nationals and run through them. That's got to be one of the best, you know, 16-seeded teams I've ever seen.
And Brzova and Stoklasova know a little bit about each other's game, having won 2 nationals together, which is so fun when then you get to play against your former partner. So this is where Manley has struggled in the past a little bit on her serving game, and I mean, I think she couldn't believe what an easy shot she just had.
Yeah, they didn't come in behind the return, and she had an open field. She just hit it out.
Yeah, really tough game right there. They had battled so hard to break Niculescu, and then all of a sudden they just gifted it back.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gift. You're right.
4-all, Liz Cruz serving. Round of 16. APTA National Championships.
Heck of a volley there. Oh! Almost got it. I tell you, Manley's dialed in on the return. She's hitting good early returns, making of spots down the line, cross court to angle.
I think, you know, they're kind of teeing off. I don't think Gabby or Liz are serving well at all here. You know, they're a little bit of a struggle, and they're lacking pace and depth on their serves here. And I think that's what's allowing Manley to tee off and Ruoff to make the move in from the ad court, kind of blitzing off of that first volley.
Ooh.
50, 30.
Maybe she changed her mind there.
I'm not sure.
I know she missed Brad. I'm sure. See, that was another short serve from Cruz.
Yep, but they stayed back that time. Oh.
30 all.
It's the best shot Gabby's hit in about 4 games.
Got that one down. Ruoff probably could have closed off that volley a little more. Let it get low. Tough shot. Ooh, all right. A few gifts back there after playing 2 great return points. They get 2 missed returns and a missed volley there. Yeah, Niculescu pushed that forehand, didn't get her feet around it. Take a good attack angle to the ball.
Again, Cruz just served and stayed back. Could move into the net. Manley, Ruoff. Ruoff's coming over a real far way to cover for Manley over the top. Good lobbing from Niculescu up the line.
Advantage, Cruz, Niculescu.
And that was a vintage Niculescu point, really extended, made Ruoff and Manley cover the whole court within a couple of shots.
Oh, you know, it's just a lack of positioning there. They're moving the ball all the way over, and you got Manley still staying like she's positioned for the ad side player.
Yeah, they didn't move over, and no one covered the middle third. And you know, kudos to Cruz for identifying that. And we know she loves her two-handed backhand, and that was a solid choice from Cruz right there. Missed opportunity from Manley Ruoff big time. And like I said, I think Manley Ruoff need the first set. You know, I have a lot of regard for Cruz and Niculescu's ability as front runners.
So you see how our players got there. Pretty routine run for both teams so far. This match is a fight right now. All right, Ruoff needs to hold to stay in it.
Love, 50.
There they switched the gears twice in a row without shifting into position, and both times they get hurt by the Cruz backhand. People do talk about how the game has changed so much, and it has in many ways. Great return from Niculescu. Now it's heating up. But the fundamentals still remain the same, you know, Patty? Get the ball in a certain place, get in the right position, you'll be able to volley. That one there hit the net cord, though, so great shot from Niculescu. Oh, great dig there from Cruz.
You heard Liz Cruz say to Gabby all day, just keep it in play, keep it going.
Love, 40.
Another great lob right over Manley's head.
Well, like we said, that, you know, they're playing a certain strategy where they want Ruoff to cover the overheads, but if she gets to block it up, and we've had 3 or 4 miscommunications right now from Manley and Ruoff, and part of that could be just, as you said, not as much in the tournaments or on the court as much, but you know, that's gotten them a couple of times here. So triple set point here for Cruz and Niculescu.
15, 40.
There's one back. A great serve there by Ruoff. Down triple set point. She can throw another one in here.
Game
and first set.
They win the first
for
set.
Cruz Niculescu. I think that was a good opportunity for Manley Ruoff. Couldn't
2
quite
minutes.
come up with the goods. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.
Elizabeth,
Stephen,
I can't believe I caught you.
you came back. I knew you'd come back.
I have to ask you something.
Anything.
What is the Netflix password?
I love Stephen.
I love Steven. It's all lowercase, one word?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You gotta get it to get it.
See ya.
Watch movies, TV shows, and exclusive series instantly.
Welcome back to the 2019 APTA National Championships, to our women's round of 16 match between the 14th seed of Ruoff and Manley against the 3rd seed of Cruz and Niculescu. And Cruz and Niculescu won the first set 6-4, Patty. But you'd have to say it was a bit of a shaky set for him. And, you know, Manley Ruoff had some opportunities there.
They really did. That was one of the most errors I've ever seen Cruz and Niculescu make in a set, Brad. You know, they haven't played a lot, so they're just kind of getting their feet wet there, and they're kind of lucky that they won that first set. And I think Manley Ruoff played a great first half of that set.
Now you see the vintage Niculescu there starting to tee off, and a lot of that probably just is the confidence of like, whew, we didn't play the greatest set there, but we got through that. Now I'm going to start playing, because I didn't think she brought out near her full arsenal of shots in that, you know, first set.
Yep. It's interesting how she moved before Pam even made contact. Pam just went down the line again. I mean, I think Gabby's got to remember that she likes moving when it's her forehand, but moving for no reason I don't think is going to accomplish a lot.
So what do you think Manley and Ruoff need to do differently in the second set? Where do you think they had missteps of taking advantage of all those errors in the first set, Niculescu and Cruz?
Yeah, I think their vulnerable spot is when Gabby's able to lob the ball up the line over Maria's head. And I think Gabby has gone onto a defensive mindset out here and is lobbing ball after ball after ball. And I think Maria, you know, Manley would do well to give up the net a little bit. And when she sees the lob coming, go back. So she's in a better position to control the overhead, and so that Pam doesn't have to come over and try to cover that shot, because Gabby has such a range on the next ball on Ruoff, you know, making it almost impossible to cover the court on the next shot. So I think Pam needs to cover a little bit more directly over her head on the lobs. Do you agree with that, Brad?
Yeah, for sure. They definitely had a bunch of miscommunications and a bunch of times where they got pulled out of position. The purpose of playing one player up on the net and another player off covering the overhead for them is so that guy can get some offensive opportunities as volleys. But if you're not getting them, then there's no purpose, and you're getting pulled out of position, then you got to move back off that and change the strategy a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we see a few more mistakes on the returns, but that's a good one there. Well read there by Niculescu, just got a little out of her reach.
Advantage, Manley, Ruoff.
Cruz played most of the season with her sister Miriam. They've had a lot of success. That was kind of fun for the sisters to have some bonding time this season.
At the twins, they're a great team together. And here we have Miriam, her sister Miriam Warner, is playing with her partner, Marcela Rodesno. Another tough team.
Yep, they're still alive in the 16s. Have to see if we get an update on that.
Yeah, they should be against Delmonico and Gebbia, I believe.
That is going to be a match, Brad.
Oh, Delmonico Gebbia, that's a tough team. I mean, the road actually for, you know, you figure as the #1 seed, you're looking for like, you know, some bonuses and this and that, but Delmonico and Gebbia is a very strong 8 seed. That's a tough one for, assuming that Hanisch and Van Starenburg can get there, they got to beat Morgan and Rudloff first. That's a tough, and then assuming it goes on through here too in the next matches. This is a tough road on that top half of the draw. Nowhere to hide in the women's draw. Because then you got teams like, you know, Shea and Brizova.
Delmonica, 2 times. She's won the Nationals with Isla, and they also were finalists the year after they won their national title, I believe. I just think once a national champion, Brad, always a national champion, and these players just have that little extra special thing that seems like they can come through right when it's needed. I think Cruz did that. She played a pretty quiet first set there,
Ruoff. They lead the second set.
but
Game to love.
kind of hit some key shots.
All right, great start there. Ruoff and Manley, big key for them. Gotta be able to hold serve throughout this set, or at least a few times. I mean, we all know there's going to be breaks of serve. It's platform tennis. There's always breaks of serve. On the women's side, there's usually multiple breaks of serve. But you gotta find a way to power through and hold, whether you have to serve and stay back or do different poaching. Now, I see Ruoff and Manley doing different things out there, trying different strategies. I think the biggest end of it is once they get into the point, now they gotta play it without, like you said, getting Manley lobbed over or them getting out of position while they're at the net.
Right, and a couple of times we saw that Manley Ruoff didn't shift to cover the middle third, just right at the end of that first set.
Yep, no,
At
couple
2
of
key
crucial
times.
points. You know, you had Manley Ruoff go up 4-3, playing a good game, tough break, and then they just lost the next 3 games. You know, but and a few of those points were on little things like position. They're not little things; they're huge things, Batty. But they're losing 1 point here, 1 point there. And all right, so very exciting. The Curtis and Stoklasova against Shea and Brizova match is just getting started there on our other live stream court. Get you some updates on that as we go through.
See right here, in this point, I see Manley take 2 or 3 more overheads than she was taking in the first set. And I think that's okay. She just has to be careful not to move on an angle toward Pam. If it's over her head, Pam would love for Maria to be able to cover those shots, I think. Brad, I saw your daughters came out here to spend some time for the weekend with you at Nationals.
Absolutely, she loves everybody. She's known them all. I used to drag her to tournaments when she was a youngster, and she knows like a lot of people out here. She loves the paddle community. She just flew in from University of Kentucky, and it's great to spend a little family time as well. And she got spring break. We'll go home and drive back after this. So looking forward to that as well. It's great to include everybody in this great sport we have.
Missed opportunity right there. Maria was trying to hit a roll overhead. It's not really a shot we see her hit that often. She had a little bit of a loose error here.
Great spot there from Niculescu. I always think if the serve goes wide, that player needs to shift over a couple of boards. She almost got caught off her hip. That return going down the line is a very common shot.
You know, when Cruz and Niculescu played their best last year, it's when they play a little bit more of an aggressive style. But I think Gabby was missing so much in the first set. But I do think Cruz and Niculescu, you know, and I know Gabby would love to see Liz drive a few more balls, you know, get some low volleys where Gabby can then do her thing and crush, because Gabby definitely is, you know, it's only a matter of time before Gabby goes into another gear here, I feel.
Yeah, we saw a glimpse of it in the first game, which they actually lost in this set here, but where she kind of took a hard overhead, made the point move fast, and then it's dialed back in. You know, the problem is, you know, for Liz Cruz, to some degree, there was enough errors out of the other corner as a team that she may not feel comfortable going for more wrist shots. She may feel like she has to keep it in play right now, even though that may be what Niculescu wants her to do. That's that fine line.
That's it. This game always comes down to the tactics. Who makes, you know, the last adjustment needed.
I love hitting a short ball to make a guy move, but if the ball gets up that high, it's not beneficial to you.
And I think you just can't stand there. You either have to leave town
or get
close
right
the
up on
net
there and
just
stuff the volley.
Get in there and have no distance between your paddle and the net.
Yeah, what would you do there, Patty?
I'd go forward and challenge it. I welcome the volley.
You're a great volleyer. I knew you would say that. And I lived most of my life under the WWPD format, which was, you know, what would Patty do? Many life decisions. It's either that or fortune cookies.
I am so glad that I can offer some spiritual guidance, Brad.
Oh, more than that, Patty. It's more of a life way. Tao.
That's a good one, Brad. You never fail to crack me up.
So here we go with Manley Ruoff again. I feel like he's got to capitalize. That's a very dangerous play. You can't come in at a disadvantage from underneath the net against one of the top offensive teams. 1-all.
Brad, I got something for you. I said to you that Liz and Gabby are really good front runners. Are Ruoff and Manley good front runners?
You know, I think you'd be better equipped to answer that question. I would say they're not specifically good or bad front runners. I wouldn't say the front runners is anything that comes into play for them. I've seen it all kind of come and go. What do you think?
I'm just saying they played such a good first set. For 3/4 of the first set.
Yeah.
There are just a couple of missed opportunities. And then here early on the second set, you know, I think it's the volley tactic that Maria's got to really commit. And you know the drive's coming, and you've got to commit to getting on top of the net as the volley. I just think you're not going to win a match against Cruz and Niculescu backing off when you're the player to the right side at the net. And it's like a catch-22 because I said I think Maria's playing too close, but it's simply that she's got to look up and see what, she's got to look at Gabby and see what shot's coming her way. Here it's a drive, they need to move in. There it's a lob. If she opens up her paddle, it's clearly going to be a lob. And then start positioning yourself, maybe.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's about reading the situation better. When you need to be off the net, when you need to be closing in. And a lot of that is exactly what you said. You have to have a constant awareness of where your opponent's making contact with the ball, where their paddle is. Is their paddle set underneath the ball with an open face, in which case you shouldn't have a lot of fear of a drive. Is the paddle up high above the shoulders, in which case you'd have to worry about the drive, right? So taking all these things into consideration. And, you know, I see some deception, but not a ton of deception from a lot of the players out there, meaning usually what you see is what you get. You know, some of the guys, they'll hold the ball really long and they'll wait and they'll flip it at you, but you got to read that situation. Then she can make a better determination whether she wants to be right on top or a little off.
See right there, she knew Gabby was going to lob her.
Yep. That's a good rip. Yeah,
She's
these are just
say,
popping up. Get back, get back.
Actually, Maria had more time than she realized there.
Well, Pam Ruoff should have bailed a lot sooner as soon as that second high volley went up there. You can see it each time, every single drive they hit, the volley got higher and higher until it was just
Gabby
great
time.
smash. Gabby time.
Gabby time.
They get that hold. Very high. Yeah, definitely the offensive shots have been sort of hit or miss for Niculescu at this point. It's not sharp.
15 all.
I think we know she's a born driver, and I think she's just got to pick a pace that she can make a higher percentage of her drives. And she's used to making them and hitting them 50 miles an hour. She's got to take a lot, she's just got to take something off it. Just make them volley more shots.
30, 50.
All right. Great return there from Niculescu. You see Ruoff and Manley use a poach there by Ruoff, but if you're going to poach, I'd rather you commit earlier rather than try to time it so perfectly that you don't get there. Got a well-spotted drive there from Niculescu.
40, 30.
Really good first volley there from Maria Manley.
Yeah, she kept it low and away from Gabby.
Yep.
Gabby could have let that ball go through to Liz.
And she was fully committed.
Big game here for Manley Ruoff on Maria's serve.
They need a hold. Just something to stabilize and just to know that you can get the hold. And this, for them, would be their first, 2-game lead, be beyond one game. The best they got in the first set was to go up 4-3 after being down a little bit. To get up 3-1 would be huge for them.
I think Manley's playing a little bit more off the net in the set.
She's a little off and then trying to read in. That time she moved in a few points ago and did a drop volley. But she's certainly not committing, letting Ruoff get those balls behind her. And I like this better as well. Way to work that point. Stayed in good position the whole time. Great job.
Set, 3 games to 1.
Well, there you go. They finally get a little breathing room here. Taking a 2-1 lead, but I'm not sure if that's just their second hold, but that's huge, the ability to get some holds.
And to hold on Manley's serve. That's really key, I think, for psychologically for the success of Ruoff and Manley.
Up 15.
Kind of a weird match. You feel the momentum totally going toward Pam Maria right now.
For a brief moment before, too. It's been completely sustained yet. There's pattern of play yet. Trouble. Maria Manley good wheels, but great shot right into the crease, and it shoots up the line. She couldn't get that one.
Gabby identified where the opening was. A lot of club level players tend to overhit that ball there, and then the ball just came out. She just measured it perfectly right at the nick.
Why Ruoff moved forward there, though. I think she might have been thinking a drop was coming. It's a great return there.
30 all.
All right, 30 all.
You know, I see that sometimes out of Ruoff and Manley, Brad, where they just decide before the return is hit that they're going to move in, no matter what. They just sort of take their chances.
30, 40.
That ball is only about a few feet, but it just went off the net and died so quickly. You couldn't even get a reaction out of Niculescu. It's a great shot. Right, so break point. Little cuts on that volley there. Stay solid behind it. Oh. That's a great lob. That's the one I want to see, the one that keeps pushing in between Manley and Ruoff there. It seems to cause the most confusion for Ruoff Manley. That one there.
Heck of a reach from Ruoff on that shot.
Cruz, Niculescu.
What lobbing spots from Cruz right there. That was, that was clutch.
That's a good point.
Obviously, this is a big game for Cruz Niculescu here.
Yeah, I think it's big both ways. So big. Manley Ruoff, I want a little distance here. They gotta. I think it's close. I'm gonna give the edge for sure to Cruz Niculescu. Shot into the crease. That's a big backhand from Cruz and a great hold.
Leads the second set, 3-2.
You know, it was a big moment, and obviously Manley Ruoff, having lost the first set, it was bigger for them, you know, for a chance to go up, you know, 4-1.
You see in our rankings there.
We've seen it a million times, Brad, how Cruz and Niculescu just come through. In the moment of truth, special players find, you know, ways to win points. And that's what I'm saying. Manley had that missed forehand volley. She got a little bit out in
sort
front
of
on
started
that
it
ball.
off, right?
And that was my point about how some players know how to close out sets and matches. At a high level, you know, I've seen so many of the top players do it over and over again. And that's why they end up late in the draw all the time.
That's why they're top players. Yeah,
Exactly.
No question about it, Patty.
Yogi Berra would agree with that logic.
It ain't over until it's over. They've gone back and forth multiple times. Oh, good lob. I would say that, what do you think the success rate has been so far on Manley and Ruoff when they're drop shotting the ball?
How many points have they ended up winning off of the drop shot?
Yeah, versus losing.
Throughout the whole match?
Yeah.
Do I need 3 fingers?
I don't know.
Do I only need 2?
I don't think they've won, they're winning maybe like very few of those points.
Yeah, very few.
They're going to have to either work it out so the drop's dying more, or anytime they're allowing Niculescu and Cruz to run forward at them, they're not getting the better of them.
I think of Cruz and Niculescu as being really amazing athletes, as well as paddle players. And when they're such good athletes, given the opportunity to run and like start the engines and get them going, I always feel like great players come through in those situations. So that's why I think your point is maybe a drop shot doesn't really do a lot for your team here against 2 tremendous athletes.
Yeah, against these guys it hasn't worked at all, unless they know they're putting it away. Like the guy's so far out, they're barely getting a paddle to it. Everyone that I've seen so far, they're tracking it down and hitting offensive shots back. So
it's just not cold enough out here, I don't think.
It's pretty warm. It's 40s, and it's going to be even warmer tomorrow. The weather forecast that I've seen, it's going to be some warm weather out here, almost up to 50. It'll be interesting tomorrow. That's a great look and a good setup. Just spot on the drive there. All right.
I think Gabby's going to drive this. What do you think, Brad?
She's going to drive it.
Pummel it. Watch out, Maria.
That's the thing. She might take it down the line. Oh, great serve, though. Really good serve by Ruoff. Ruoff's got a good serve.
Yep, she's worked on it a lot. Takes her time. Real deliberate serving routine.
There we go. That's a winner. That was beautifully done. All the pace off it. That's good. She had her on her heels, so better time for it.
And she crushed. She took advantage of that wingspan. Saw the off-speed ball hit from Cruz. And recognized what she could do with it.
Nice. That ball just gives such a hard time for the player. It's just tough to chase down. Got to get started early, get moving forward. Ruoff had a long run there. She just couldn't get near it. Niculescu wins a ton of points with that hard overhead.
She really does. We've seen her hit it so much over the last couple of years, and literally the moment she lines it up, you just have to run up that side screen if you're the deuce player.
Problem is she hits it at you, so you feel like you have to get out of the way first. Then it blunts your ability to run forward. Oh, what a flick. Yeah, it was called wide. It was wide. And there we go. See, but they won with the drop shot. Then they, you know, they're definitely on the losing end unless they can really get that person on their heels.
But you could see Cruz just take off. She just lined up that shot, and it just gave her an opportunity to really get a good run in. You know, I don't think off of Manley's drop shot, it's really proving to be effective at all for them.
Look, the drop is a really good play, and it can be extremely effective depending on who you're playing against and depending on the weather and depending a lot of things. It is at the very least getting them moving, but they're hitting the more of the offensive shots after the drop, winning more of those points. Ah, good ball.
Cruz, Niculescu.
You can see on the top of your screen, there's Gio and Molenveld up there playing their round of 16 match.
Against Saborino Drakova.
Yep. There should be a battle right over there. Our 16 and our 10 seed. Great spot. Wow.
And you can feel it. This is critical time in the second set. Both teams very deliberate.
Oh,
You know,
no,
the more I
this is
think about Manley and Ruoff slowing down play, I don't think Gabby minds. I think as she's continuing to claw her way, you know, up, you know, in terms of her level of execution, I think she's getting a lot of time to think about it with the slow pace of play.
Ooh.
Advantage, Manley, Ruoff.
A lot of discussion. Clearly an important point. They know it.
I love the use of signals, telling her where to serve and whether she's moving or not.
Probably up the tee. Ruoff's had a pretty good couple of serves right up the tee to pull Gabby over.
She's done a great job serving Niculescu there. Yeah, good. Nice. Now that's
Manley,
different.
Ruoff.
Beautiful shot.
Second set, 4
Well
games
done.
to 2.
Way to keep that distance, keeping their 2-game lead. Great hold there from Pam Ruoff. And I think overall, Patty, like we talked about, a better job from Manley and Ruoff about knowing when to close off the net, knowing when to be back. So there you see all of our round of 16 matches, and it's quite a field out there. Every single seeded team in there, except for Nutting and Williamson, who took out our 15 seeds. Oh, great redirect volley. Ooh! Incredible hands there by Niculescu.
Brad just got an update. Cruz and Niculescu are up 4-1 first set against Amy Shea and Anna Brazova.
Yeah, in terms of like game styles or complementary game styles, what do you think about, you know, Brazova and Shea, they're great players individually, and usually two great individual players often work well together, but sometimes styles and the, you know, complementary styles make a huge difference out there. So what about that?
Yeah, well, I think that Amy is so used to playing with Cynthia. I mean, they've had so much success over 15 years as a team. They've won 1 million national titles in 40s, 45s, 50s.
Just not this.
They've reached one final of a nationals a couple years ago in Connecticut.
Where she lost to Debbie Niculescu, actually, in her first winning out there.
Yep, so I think it's going to be a major adjustment for Amy Shea, who's, you know, so bummed that Cynthia can't be here to compete, but she gets a 3-time national champion, which is so exciting, so she's got to shift gears. I think the key in that match is Brazova, and she's just been at a high-level competition, Brad, for 3 years. And the game just continues to speed up, and when you haven't seen that on a consistent basis, and then under pressure at nationals, you know, that was the big question mark for me.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. Brazova's a great volleyer, good technical position volleyer too. The offense not always reliable, we'll say, I guess. She's got the high forehand down.
Doesn't generate her own offense.
Right. You know, and it's interesting. I mean, I think that's the biggest unknown there. How they're going to play together as a team, how they're going to gel. You know, clearly it's a tough team out there, but Cruz and Niculescu has some really good results, and I feel like they're getting better and better. And Curtis is a great driver of the ball. Her screens have been very suspect, you know. But as it continues, she keeps getting better and better, and she drives the ball. She's one of the better pure hitters on the tour.
Yeah, they're one of the teams I picked as a, you know, real contender to leave here on Sunday with a national title.
There you go.
They've only played 3 tournaments this year, but they've not lost a match yet.
Right. See, that's the good time of the drop, when she got her on the heels. Not when they're able to run forward there. That's a great shot.
So 4-2, Manley and Ruoff up, 30-all, second set, round of 16 action. Pittsburgh, PTA National Championship.
Seeing the backcourt here, Niculescu on the deuce side. A little different look. That's the shot that Cruz loves the most, that backhand, either high or off the screen. She's great at it. Very consistent. That's a shot I'd love to see more of in the women's game. And that hard overhead again, it wins like 75% of the points. Great shot. Oh!
Cruz,
not happy with that one.
Manley, Ruoff lead the second set, 4-3.
All right,
and
so
Brad, I
4-3.
think to your point about that overhead, why it's so tough to defend is that you have to get out of the way first and move to your left, and then you have to go on a beeline over to that side screen halfway up the court.
Yeah, I know Florentina Hanisch had like nightmares about it in their finals last year. You know, she just pounding it in there. She had to spend time working at it. Same thing with, you know, Cynthia Dardis. They've all experienced it. They've all gone out there and been victimized by that really hard overhead. And they all have to go back to the drawing board. And I don't know if, you know, Manley and Ruoff have seen it a ton yet. And they all have to figure out how to defend it eventually if you want to get through Cruz and Niculescu.
Right, and you've just got to avoid the overhead. You've got to, you know, direct your shots more toward Cruz. And the moment you see that the girl in the red vest is going to hit the ball, I'd almost cheat over way to the right and get out of the way of the ball coming in.
What if she's wearing a blue vest?
Well, it's different rules if she's wearing blue.
No, but see what it is it's you're right. You got to know when to start your run, and then when that player starts their run, the other player has to move and cover a little bit, because she's going to also start to learn how to off-pace the overhead too if you do make a move too early. So it's really about that, how you work that out as a team, not just as the individual. So.
Right, but I'd love to see Manley make the move and get Gabby to maybe change her shot.
I agree with you. And then Ruoff has to cover, yeah. Spot, well placed.
Gabby time. I say it, I keep saying it because she's a special player. She can dictate the outcome of matches. She's not played a great match overall, but Gabby is a competitor. She is battling. She's well aware of, you know, the number of errors she's made, but she will battle. And even if she hasn't had a good look for, you know, on her signature forehand in 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. When she gets that opportunity, she's going to crush it.
Oh, what a spot there. Great play. Here we go.
And Brad, you know, Gabby teed up at Maria. Maria's backing off a little bit and hitting that ball across 2 zones all the way over to Cruz's forehand on that deuce side. I think Maria would be well served if she could take it on and just volley the ball straight ahead. Don't move it into another zone.
You don't want to volley across court unless you're redirecting away from somebody blitzing at you.
Or if you can hit the ball and get it into 2 screens, which doesn't happen much. It's never happened on one of my volleys. And that's the point. You really only can switch it over 2 zones off of an overhead.
And even then, it's very dangerous. You got to
dangerous against the top players.
Oh, blocked volley there. She's on that one. See, that's what you said about starting early. Liz Cruz is running in before that drop starts. That's what we need when you see the hard overhead coming. That's when it's a dangerous drop shot versus the other. Oh, I love that off-pace ball for Ruoff. Well done.
Really good
recognition.
point from Manley and Ruoff there. I thought they were dead in that point. They, to their credit, they ended up winning it.
15-40.
All right, that's 1 back. Still 2 more break points here for Cruz and Niculescu. Patty getting up, getting us a little report on the Curtis and Niculescu score.
Brad, I'm getting up on a step ladder so I can see over to the monitor on the other side of the room.
All right, so it's 4 games all right here. Manley and Ruoff lost their 2-game lead, and now it's crunch time. They had a little bit of a lead in that first set, up 4-3, and then 3 games in a row for Cruz and Niculescu. And now Cruz and Niculescu on a mini run here with 2 games in a row, and good, great return followed by just an unfortunate miss there from Manley. A good look. Missed it. There's Niculescu reading the return perfectly. Putting it away, 30 love.
Got an update. Amy Shea, easy for me to say, serving down 1-5 to Curtis and Niculescu first set.
Curtis and Niculescu right off the bat.
Niculescu.
And that is a... I mean, I'd be surprised if it were a blowout, but I wouldn't also in the sense that they're playing so well and they're gelled as a team and haven't lost all year. And quite frankly, Shea and Brasova have never played really together. There's the first set now, which is third. So that first set goes to Curtis Niculescu, 6 games to 1.
And their perfect season is continuing. 3 tournaments, undefeated, and they got the first set here.
And for my money, I'd actually make them the favorite. Still got to get through this one to finish it out.
30 all.
We also got another report. That's a great trace down there from Ruoff. Lemery and Rohrbach win their match. So congratulations to them over Heil and Tunaru. So they're into the quarterfinals. And they're going to play the winner of this match. All right, so Manley Ruoff. Good points here. Great pace ball there from Ruoff. Wonderfully done.
Ruoff, they lead the second set, 5 games to 4.
Just didn't, hit it very hard, which made it really tough to track down, obviously.
Yeah, she held it a little bit and then quick little roll there. And Niculescu tried to make a move, but she was a little late. And it was the perfect pace ball.
Brad, we have a special night tonight with the Hall of Fame induction of our buddy Mike Stulak.
Yeah, great competitor. I have many, many matches against Mike.
Two-time U.S. national champion, and name the other country he's won a national title in. Or name the only other country that has platform tennis.
Well, yeah, he's the only Canadian member of the Hall of Fame. And, or the first anyway. See if there'll be more down the road. Oh, great.
50, love.
Take it. But she closed in nicely there. This is big serving for the second set. It's Pam Ruoff, and her serve has been good enough to give them good chances to hold. It's been a little more of a struggle holding the Manley service game. Oh, what a return.
And I just don't think Manley should be moving when Pam serves to Gabby. Pam is totally capable as a volleyer and is not really getting beaten on her first volley. I think Manley needs to hold ground. You just can't give Gabby that straight ahead shot.
Yeah, I think for their purpose they were taking a risk-reward thing. If she guesses right, maybe she gets a put-away volley. But I understand exactly your point. If she doesn't get it, they just lose the net.
I missed 1 point. Did you miss 1 point?
Yeah. Oh, big. There it is again. Late start again.
50, 30.
Great ball.
I say avoid Gabby right now. I would make Cruz hit more of the overheads.
Certainly Gabby's a closer. Cruz is too, but it's a different way about it. She plays consistently, methodically, but she is not afraid of pressure, Cruz. She is good under pressure. Will hit a crucial moment, a big drive, but she tends to play the point in a methodical manner, doesn't just dominate it or dictate it with 1 or 2 balls. Oh, she gave her a little off-pace roller there. Huge, and Manley gets ahead of it. Pushes it wide. That's where you don't want to reach your paddle out. Keep it right in there, close. All right, 15-40.
A nervous overhead for me, for Maria. Thought that was a little
Comes
dicey going all the way over to Liz's forehand.
Nice. Comes. Oh!
30, 40.
Great point. Great point.
Wow, huge point for Manley Ruoff.
Well, they got it back to 1 away here. They can get back to deuce. What pressure that turns right back on Cruz Niculescu.
Is Gabby going to go at Maria again?
She's been turning it up the line anytime that Ruoff serves the ball slightly wide. No, not that time. Good volley. Ruoff getting down low. Great play from Manley. An awesome job getting it back to deuce. I think that completely shifts the pressure back on Cruz Niculescu. Not that I think it bothers them, because I think they're pressure players, but
I agree. I love what Manley did there on her backhand volley. She kept her second hand on the paddle, Brad. She hit the shot straight ahead, right at Gabby. She didn't move it across the court again.
and she attacked back just long. Confirmed by the umpire, and we have set point here for Manley Ruoff.
Great low volley ball, but Gabby time.
That was pretty impressive. Great return. Good job from Ruoff just to get it back. And then Gabby just spots that second drive. Tough position for Ruoff.
And Brad, what I mean about Gabby time is she uses the combination of shots. You know, she'll hit a return. She's not going for the winner on a return, but then she'll just load up if you volley the ball short.
Right. No, she's like a lot of top players. She's very good and very dangerous in transition. Moving forward, she's one of the best in the country. See, that to me I do not love. Oh,
Wow. And that's just a little bit more of that when Manley drops her paddle head and the ball just kind of sits there for a second.
all right. Break point. Good cover there by Manley, recognizing the wide serve and moving on to her line. Oh!
Okay, Cruz, Niculescu. The second set is tied. 5-all.
5-5. Big time play from big time players. Now, how big is it, Patty, the ability to sort of close a match? Is that an innate thing, or is that a thing that certain players have, certain players don't, or is it you can actually learn that kind of thing?
I don't think you can learn it, Brad. I think that some players just know how to seize, and I think the greatest players in the game are great at the most difficult moments, or they recognize when they have to really make a difference in the match, and they'll bring it. And that's what I've talked about, the difference between like a Gabby and a Liz here, and a Maria and Pam. And Maria and Pam are, did a really good job to begin each of these sets. And all of a sudden, we thought we were going to the third set, and then boom, Cruz and Niculescu, all of a sudden feel like they have momentum again.
It's not over yet, but Niculescu's won 5 or 6 of the last, when she's hit that hard overhead in there. She's won the last 6 of them, I believe.
I kind of always feel like in the moment of truth, you don't have to, you don't have to do anything great. You have to put the other team in a position where they have to do something great to beat you. And I just think the drop shot from Manley really isn't the play here against the athletic ability of Cruz and Niculescu.
We've seen him win points with it, but only in specific circumstances.
Like right there when Pam's cutting across with her forehand. I think that's proved to be, you know, a really good shot for them.
That was a nice touch on that one. That one was not as easy as it looked. Ooh, pushed it long.
Really good pressure from Ruoff. Nice combination of shots. I love the two-headed backhand coming out of the corner.
Well, here we go. Still right there in the balance. Two great tight points. I love this. And I would think for either of these teams, whatever the result is, playing these crucial points and these tight points there, they're big. All right, so that's 540. Couple of break points here for Manley and Ruoff.
Another shift in momentum. It's an amazing thing about paddle and how you can have shifts within a game on the momentum. I think Maria had to try to do that there because she had to keep the ball down low. They were up close, and if they popped that ball up, they would have been hit.
Oh, good hands there from Niculescu, getting it back to deuce. All right, so quick little signal. You saw Maria Manley whisper something over there. Then that was for Ruoff to blitz. Great bail.
They love that play, Brad. They just send one of the players. Person hits the return, the other person moves up. And Manley and Ruoff do that a lot.
Yep. Oh, that's a great combination, but she's getting Manley to hit that ball high in the contact zone while she's off the net, and then she's getting to drive the ball down. It's just a tough volley to make consistently.
Brad, there's one spot you avoid. Gabby's forehand.
Absolutely.
I don't care what side of the court she's on.
Full agreement. Oh, nice dig there from Ruoff. Oh! How about that? I tell you, it's right here. All these points are super tight. See if Manley and Ruoff can just get over the hump. Execute 2 or 3 points in a row.
And Ruoff was way inside the service line there, and I do think that puts a lot of pressure on Maria's return to serve right there.
Yeah, it's a full commitment to the return being good and low. I mean, there's nothing else. Oh!
And what hands on Gabby. Pam picked a great spot, and Gabby just moved her pad a little bit over off her right side, came up with the play, kept that ball down low, and Pam missed a golden opportunity there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think it puts a little pressure. She's like, she wants someone back. She's taking a practice swing there. But it puts a little extra pressure on you when they make that other volley. Now you got to make it better. She tried to really put a little extra on it, a little more spin, and it wasn't that high to begin with, so it wasn't easy, actually. It's getting to be dusk out there. You know, a little different light. It's still pretty bright out, but for me, you know, dusk becomes the harder time to see. But I think it's still okay out there right now.
Well, we're older than any of these players are, Brad, and I think that's what
Try
makes
not
the
to get
difference.
at that, even though...
well, I am, for sure.
All right, well, here is the
You're
crucial
the youngster
moment.
in the booth.
Manley has had trouble holding today, and she's holding to stay in the match. She just faulted the first one.
Yeah, this is going to be rough.
This is going to be you know, where it all starts. You got to start with this, and there's the put away on the second one.
I just think they should stay back, to tell you the truth, because
Yeah.
I just think Gabby can pick spots.
And if Ruoff's going to go, she's got to go in a way where she cannot get burned out wide there, because that's the one shot there's no chance to cover.
Wow, what a lob. Great cover from Ruoff there.
And I would have stayed back. If I were Maria Manley, I would not have come back in there against a blitzing Niculescu. We got 3 match points just like that in this great battle. And you see Cruz just right up there challenging the serve volleyer. She's coming in. And there it is. Game, set, and match, as the umpire said. Congratulations to Cruz and Niculescu, who move on to play Lemery and Rohrbach in the quarterfinals tomorrow. So, Patty, any final thoughts on our match today?
I think national champions are national champions for a reason, Brad. We kept saying, I just think in crucial moments, they can dial it up and execute and come up with a couple of shots that made the difference there. Kudos to Ruoff and Manley. They played a great match. We're taking a look at the draw there. Hanisch and Van Sterenberg beat Morgan and Rudloff.
Yep.
They're through to the
66-4.
quarters. And Lemery and Rohrbach are through to the quarters as well, and will face Cruz and Niculescu.
Yep, we can put them
which you
and
just said.
pencil them in over there. We're looking at some great matchups. I mean, we'll still see if Rudesno and Warner can give a great run to Domenico and Gebbia. I think that is a really tough team. So look forward to see all these resorts out there. We'll be back tomorrow with more of our action in the women's quarterfinals and more of the men's action as well. We're starting early in the morning.
8:30 with men's 32. Brad.
In the morning. So we'll see you tomorrow. Patty, pleasure doing this with you.
Thanks, Brad.
And then we'll see you on the APTA network presented by ENET Live. 8:30 tomorrow again, right, Patty?
I'll be there, Brad.
See you then.